Hey friends, Shauna from glittergiftsandmore.com. We're going to do a quick video of how we created this peekaboo smoke effect water slide tumbler today. I started with a prepped and spray painted tumbler. 20 ounce skinny is what we're using. And then I used matte Mod Podge to apply the glitter. So what you're seeing now is my first layer of glitter going on. We start with the Mod Podge, make sure it's nice and smooth with no lumps, bumps, and ridges. And then we're adding, it's a pretty chunky mixed glitter, crushed crystals, available at glittergiftsandmore.com. And we're going to apply that evenly, and then I use my finger to pat it flat. Doing that just helps it lay flat now, reducing the number of layers of epoxy we're going to need to get it smooth towards the end. Once that dries, we are going to go ahead and add a second layer of glitter, just because I love doing 2 layers of glitter. Not necessarily needed, given the fact that the first layer did get pretty decent coverage. It's just personal preference. So we put we dry brush off the excess glitter from the first layer, add a second layer of Mod Podge over top of that first layer of glitter, get everything nice and smooth, and then add a second layer of crushed crystal. We're going to let that dry completely. Oh, I also pat that one flat with my finger as well. I apologize. My words are not easy today. So we're going to pat that flat with my finger, let that dry, and then we're going to apply a layer or 2 of epoxy. And I say a layer or 2 because you want to apply enough epoxy to where it's smooth, but as few layers as possible to move on to the next step. So I think I did 2 layers of epoxy to get it smooth, and then you'll see me come back and we are going to spray paint it completely white. Okay, so that is my epoxied smooth tumbler we're going through. We're going to spray paint it white. Now we're going to remove some of the paint. So this is the peekaboo portion of the tumbler, and you'll see me, I remove the paint with 100% pure acetone. I clean up those areas with 91% alcohol, and then you'll see I go through, do a little by little, taking off a little bit more paint each time, because it's a lot easier to take a little bit more off than it is to have to repaint the cup and start over. So while I'm doing this, you'll also see at different points that I'm measuring it to make sure that I've got the space for the water slide decal as well. Now this does take a little bit of time, and it is something I struggle with because I want it to look sporadic, and somehow I always manage to make it look like it is lines. We all have things we need to work on. That's mine. Once we have that done, and before we do anything else with the cup, so this is still bare spray paint. I know where the glitter or the decal is going to go, but I want to add some smoke to the paint itself. So I'm using just a regular spoon and a regular candle that I had in the house, and I'm creating the black smoke that I'm catching with the tumbler, and I'm trying to catch it in different ways. However much smoke you create and how you move your candle will dictate how much smoke and what design gets on the tumbler. I wanted it to be faint, so you'll see after I do this, I will go through and wipe a little bit off. I just use, I think I used 91% alcohol to wipe off the epoxy areas because I didn't want any smoke on the epoxy or for that to be dingy at all. And then I do a quick wipe down of the tumbler in its entirety just to kind of fade out that smoke effect just a little bit. So that's where I'm going through, and I'm wiping down the tumbler, making sure that I don't do too much because I don't want to remove it all. I just wanted to fade it a little bit. Now at this point I don't want to epoxy again, so I did a layer of fast coat. I think it's fast coat, quick coat. I get the 2 confused. It is not the fast setting epoxy, but it is just that one, it's a bottle of, oh my goodness, it's going to drive me nuts. And I'm not getting up to check, but you know what I'm talking about. It's just the thing you rub on, let that dry. It'll be in the comments. Check the comments because my brain is a fog. Check the comments to see exactly what it is. But we did a layer that, let that dry completely, and I'm actually applying my water slide decal directly to that layer instead of epoxying again. So what you see me doing here is every glitter tumbler's struggle. I'm removing the little specks of glitter that got caught in it while it was drying or while it was waiting for me to get back to work on it. So we're just applying this standard clear water slide decal. You guys have seen me apply them 1,000 times. We had spaced out where I wanted it when we were removing the paint, when we were doing the peekaboo portion of the cup. So I already know where it's going. Now I'm just applying it. This is available at glittergivesomemore.com. If you would like the decal, it will be there. So we're just trying to make sure it stays smooth, pulling the backing out from behind it, getting it nice and even Steven, and then I will use my silicone squeegee to pull the water out from behind it, and then a paper towel to dry off the top. We'll let that dry completely and then add our final layer of epoxy. Now in my final layer of epoxy, I do add a little bit of Dainty Diamonds just to add a little sparkle to that final layer of epoxy. Just a little bit goes a long way. It's just for subtle sparkle. So Dainty Diamonds is a finer glitter. It's not as fine as like diamond dust, but it is a white iridescent glitter, so it doesn't leave any of that silvery color that sometimes if you use too much Dainty diamond dust can do. Thanks so much for watching, guys.